Hi there, I'm Sandy Allnock here for my monthly Create in Color segment on the MFT Stamps YouTube and blog. Very excited to bring you giraffes because April finally had her baby. And at the time of this filming, I don't know what the baby's name is, but they have mama and baby giraffes in this stamp set. And I thought that would be a great ode to her. And I'm going to use the wonky stitched dies, the square nesting dies, to create a window in the front of my smooth white cardstock from MFT. And I'm placing it in the MISTI and figuring out exactly where that head is going to pop out. That's where mama is going to peek through the front of the card from the inside. A lot of times we don't use that space on the inside of a card. And I'm going to use my MFT ink, the hybrid ink, to stamp mama. And so she's going to be the base of what I'm going to be working with in order to create the image that's going to go from the inside to the outside. That's the reason that I'm using the MISTI, because otherwise I could have just used a block to stamp it. But here I can line up one of the branches because I want the branches to look like they're hanging outside of the window. And the baby is going to be on the outside. So I want this to look like it's in both places. So first I'm going to block off the inside and stamp the little branch that's going to hang out. I'll have just a couple of them sticking out the front. And then I'm going to stamp it on the inside. Now, you might wonder why I blocked off that inside. You get a little bit of a wonky stamping when you stamp over that edge, and I didn't want that wonky stamping to happen. So now I've laid my acetate from the stamp set actually down on the paper so that I can keep that ink from getting onto my paper. And I've got another branch that's going to hang out outside. I'm just going to have two of them. You could have more if you would like for your design, no big deal. But here you can see that I've got two of the branches look like they're coming from the inside to the outside. Now I'm going to stamp the baby in a position looking up at the mama. And if you haven't seen the MISTI, one of the great things I love about it is that I can stamp a couple times if I don't get my image inked up really well. And the MISTI helps you to stamp it over top of things quite easily and line them up. Now for the rest of the tree branch that the mama is standing in front of, I'm just going to use a very simple masking method, which is just a sticky note if I need it. And the rest of it I'm going to just stamp directly onto the paper, try to make branches look like they're continuing off to a tree trunk that is over on that right-hand side. And any of the areas that are in between some of these, I can fill in with a pen. You don't have to actually worry about lining them all up exactly because it's just a branch and a little leaf, so you can fill in areas if you need to. I'm going to be coloring these with just one layer of color. I'm not going to put shading and everything on them. The reason is because on most any cardstock that you're going to use, if you want a one-layer card, if you start doing a lot of color and you really go back and forth a lot, you're doing a lot of blending, you're going to go through the paper on the other side. And on this one, I wanted to keep it really simple. And if I just do one layer of color and do as few strokes as possible, then you can get away with using just this sheet of paper and not having a whole lot of bleed through on the other side. So that is the reason for it. But when you've got a card that has a really cute design, and of course adorable stamps, because that's what MFT has, you don't really have to worry about a whole lot of detailed shading. You can just color it in a really fun way, design it in a fun way, so that the coloring really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. And yes, I know I missed those little leaves. I did miss them and had to go back to do them. I'm going to use the same colors on the front, because that's going to then carry through the whole image from the inside to the front of the card. And again, going right around the image with as few strokes as possible so I don't end up with bleed through, especially on the inside. Sometimes it doesn't matter so much on the back, but on the inside, this is actually going to give me nothing bleeding through. And the same thing happens on other cardstocks. So if you're wondering, then just be really limited in how much color you put down. Just don't go crazy on it. And on top of not bleeding through, look how quick and simple the coloring was on this. All I have to do is add a sentiment. So I'm going to use some Jelly Bean Green to stamp it using my MISTI again so I can get it nice and straight using the grid lines. And voila, a nice simple card with a lot of interest to it, but I didn't have to spend a ton of time coloring and that sort of thing. and it came out really, really cute. I love, love, love clean and simple cards. I can't do them all the time, but sometimes when I'm in the mood, I get an idea that works really great. And this one is one that works with a lot of different stamp sets as well. You can create a little window of all different kinds of shapes on the front and have things kind of hopping out to the front from the inside, just like I did here. And I hope you'll try that sometime and tag me if you do, because I'd love to see what you create. Here are some more videos from MFT. Feel free to subscribe to their channel to get more information from them on creating beautiful things. And I will see you guys next month. Have a great day. Bye-bye.